Episode 2 of The Amazing Digital Circus is probably the most hyped release in all of indie animation, and we're practically begging for it at this point, so why is it taking so long, and exactly when will it come out? The sad thing I realize is that Glitch will delay it on purpose. Glitch has to worry about their other shows such as Murder Drones and The Gaslight District. If they were to drop both of them in order to fully focus on the Digital Circus, they would certainly make more money and episodes would come out quicker. However, they don't want to drop two entire fan bases just for money and still want to release episodes for their other shows as well. And since Murder Drone Season 1 is finishing in May or June with Gaslight District releasing a little bit after, we might actually have to wait until August or September for a release of episode 2, even if they had already finished it a few months prior. But here's the thing, it could be true that Glitch is working on all three shows at the same time, and although that would be difficult for them to do, it's possible they would be able to because of all the money that the Amazing Digital Circus already brought them. And my proof is that everyone knows that all shows have to create hype before releasing episodes, which is why nearly every episode gets its own trailer for Glitch shows, but they haven't released any trailers for the Amazing Digital Circus yet. However, they've actually released some teasers, which means we're in the beginning stages for promotion of episode 2. If you remember in the pilot episode, when Pomni goes out into the void by herself, Kane gets an alert on his Wacky Watch and a commercial style banner appears. And if you actually go to its website, thewackywatch.com, you would see a TV that plays a video explaining what the Digital Circus is, introducing us to all the different characters and giving us a bit of lore that Kane might be a human. But here's the thing, it was really just a trailer for the pilot episode, which means it was up for months and stayed up for another 2 months after the release, until they actually changed it and showed us what the inside of Pomni's room looks like, which gave us some details as to what's going to happen in episode 2 and almost confirms that episode 2 will start getting some trailers soon. But we also got a second teaser posted by Gooseworks pretty recently, and this one actually showed us some new information that could change the dynamic of the show. She put out a tweet saying that damn cameraman is falling asleep again, and it shows us the reflection of 4 new characters on a white and black checkerboard floor, which is the exact floor we see towards the beginning of the pilot episode. And we know that this is 100% a teaser for episode 2 because a Twitter user replied to her tweet by saying, "Oh boy, back to the old times, thank you so much," where it shows an older version of the exact same floor but instead reflecting the characters that we got in the pilot episode, which means that Gooseworks is teasing 4 brand new characters that we're gonna get in episode 2. Some people believe that these characters might be NPCs, as we would definitely have way too many if they were all main characters such as circus members, but it's possible that one of them's a new character, one of them could be an AI, and a few of them could be NPCs. However, in the older photo we didn't see any NPCs, which makes me think what these characters really could be. The one on the left we can see looks kind of like a candle that has red and green arms with some green legs, but the next character that we get is a ghost looking character that seems to be wearing some sort of dress or cape, but my guess is that it's probably a cape because we can see the neck part of it flaring out, although it kind of does wrap all the way around, so it's probably a dress and a cape at the same time. The next character we see is actually wearing a dress and looks almost exactly like Princess Peach from Mario. However, it's not her because of her pink hair reflecting in the floor, and we know that Peach is blonde, and of course they would get sued to homelessness. But you can see a slight yellow reflection where her head is, which means that she is wearing a crown. And our last character is a bit interesting. He seems to look like a blue stick figure Lego guy with the stature of Huggy Wuggy from Poppy's Playtime, and in the reflection you can kind of see his eyes, and he seems to have maybe a faint red smile, which would almost make him the exact same as Huggy Wuggy. And because episode 2 is already getting these teasers, and with every show and video game it's always the teaser that gets dropped before the trailer, that means we're getting close to episode 2's trailer, which means we could get a trailer in the next month or two, and then a month or two after that we get the full episode. However, Murder Drones got a trailer that was literally 6 to 7 months before its release date, which means that they're either going all out or Glitch could be bogged down by running 3 different shows all at the same time. However, one bit of good news, and we know this for sure, is that we're only waiting on Glitch's animation team. The showrunner Gooseworks is the one in control of the writing and the music, and she's already written every single episode of the season. season. As soon as Glitch is able to go full throttle on the digital circus, they can get the episodes out within a month of each other. Since the writing is 100% complete and the voice acting is already being worked on, all they have left to do is animation. However, this is the hardest part, so we're gonna have to wait a few more months. But one thing that could speed up the release of the episodes is because in animation they have to make a whole bunch of different sets, and they have to do this inside of their animating software and save these files, which are huge, like the tent, void, and grounds. But here's the thing, they don't ever have to make these sets again. All that's left is moving around the characters and animating them. And we know that the Amazing Digital Circus's pilot episode was in the works for over a year because they had to start from scratch. But episode 2 will be way quicker in production since they already finished the void, the exit door, the tent, and the dorm hall, as well as Kaufmo and Pomni's room from the teaser. But with that, they actually might have to create some more scenes, and I know I just said they didn't have to, but this might slow down the process just a bit. Gooseworks was asked if each character will get their own special episode focusing on them, and she said yes. So when she was asked who episode 2 will focus on, she said a character we haven't met yet, which means that they're gonna have to fully animate a new character and animations to go with it. As well, we could get even further delayed because they also have to make more scenes for the digital lake and tent. When Pomni originally joined the circus, Kane showed her around, which is where we see the grounds that holds the tent, lake, and carnival. But the thing is, the next episode will definitely explore at least one of the two. And we know that the circus was one of the main focuses of episode 1, which definitely took them a lot of time to make, and so if we're gonna get another area to focus on in episode 2, for example the tent or carnival, then they're gonna have to spend a lot of time making that, which could then further delay the episode. However, one of the biggest factors to how quick they make the next episode is how much money they make. And I'm not saying they're greedy, but obviously they need to pay their employees because you can't eat YouTube views. And with the $5 to $8 million that they made off of the pilot episode alone, if episode 2 does even half as good, then they can make another $2 to $4 million. But here's the thing, that could be on every single episode, and with 8 episodes for season 1, which was confirmed by Gooseworks, that's literally $30 million on their first season, which will more than pay for everything they could possibly need to start releasing episodes within a month of each other, which means after episode 2 comes out, we just have to hold on for a little bit at a time with teasers and trailers in between. So that's why episode 2 is taking so long to come out. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and click on this video here.